AITA for continuing to let my ex-wife's autistic brother live with me after our divorce. My 42M ex-wife, 44F, and I recently separated. We were together for 26 years. We met in high school, and during that time her parents became unable to care for her brother Brody, 34M, who is autistic. Brody moved in with my wife and I 10 years ago, and while there was an adjustment period he lived with us happily since then. My marriage's deterioration was completely unrelated to Brody and was centered around my wife's emotional affair with a coworker. When deciding what to do about Brody's living arrangements, I stated that Brody could live with me, but my wife overrode me and demanded Brody come with her. I said I didn't think this was fair, because Brody is verbal. He stated his preferences were to stay at my house. His autism is fairly mild and he is capable of making his preferences known. My wife overrode him and took him with her when she moved out. However, since then she has called me asking me to come get him because he was giving her such a hard time, letting him stay the night for a few days, then a week, and now it's been a few months since he spent the night with her at her apartment. I consider Brody to be my brother too. I've known him since he was 8 years old. I very much have a strong bond with him and I'd be fine if he stayed living with me until I was old and grey. My ex and her family are very unhappy about this situation, but my argument is and continues to be if they care about his happiness they should listen to his opinions. He is an adult. Just because he has autism doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings and preferences. AITA for letting my ex Bill stay against his family's wishes. NTA. If he's verbal, he can say exactly what he wants or not. Plus, you're willing to help him, he knows you, and you have known him for the majority of his life, so you know his little quirks. He's lucky to have you. Thank you. He is very high functioning in the sense that he requires little help. He is self-sufficient in terms of hygiene. He is actually sometimes tells me I need to shower if I have a lazy Sunday without showering lol. The main thing he doesn't like is cooking. He hates the smells and sounds of food being cooked, so he usually stays in his room while I cook and then comes to eat dinner at the table. I know that in terms autism, we are very lucky Brody is as high functioning as he is. He just has a lot of quirks and social difficulties which would make living independently impossible. Info: he is 34. Do they have power of attorney or anything? Is he mentally capable of making decisions and just needs some day-to-day help? This is the issue. Medical and financial power of attorney. Who manages his care? Does the ex just not want to let go of control? Does she have these in place? Is Bill managing on his own? Someone needs both in case of emergencies if he is not capable. You are such a good man. NTA. I actually think this is so sweet that you and Brody have each other. Nata. He is 34 and can make the decision. The rest of the family is being controlling. AITA for wanting to celebrate my achievements. So I, F21, have an older brother, M25. In some ways I was always the gifted child, but that was mostly because I worked my butt off and my mother forced me into way more stuff. The reason I was good at sports and he wasn't was because my mum let him stay home and play Xbox or go out with friends while I spent every spare hour I had training. I'm talking 12 hours per week athletics, Sunday hockey, 8 hours hockey during the week, 6 hours volleyball, Saturday games, badminton, swimming, water sports in the summer. They even made me train with serious injuries, to the point where my coach screamed at them for basically ruining my body. So being the gifted child was a curse in my mind. However, I understood when my brother would be celebrated for a C because that was a big deal to him. But even when I got 10A in my GCSEs, a big fucking deal, and took 2 A-levels early, we didn't celebrate. Eventually he went to university and nearly failed out and moved home at 21. He decided to join the military. It was a long process of applying and he used this as an excuse not to get a job or contribute. Eventually he went to basic training and failed for poor organization, forgetting stuff, talking back to officers, poor hygiene, laundry, just stupid stuff. At the same time, I graduated from university with a first-class degree. I also landed my first job. My aunties had planned a party for me and my mum made them cancel it and refused to take me because it would upset my brother. I decided after working as a teaching assistant for a year that I wanted to be a teacher. So I have worked my butt off working and studying this year and finally got a place on my dream course. I was so excited. Problem is, my brother got rejected. See, he is also applying for teaching courses, but only because in the UK they pay you to do these courses. He just wants the money. He did a video interview in a tracksuit. He forgot that he had to prepare a lesson plan for this interview. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I told my parents that I got in and I was so excited and my mum was shushing me and telling me to stop. Your brother didn't get in. Don't upset him. So I asked if we could order a takeaway next week to celebrate and if she could help me find a flat to live in. She said no because she didn't want to upset him. And I lost it. I started crying and asked her why I have to hide everything away because he is a failure. And she flipped out, calling me an ungrateful I'm not allowed to celebrate any of my achievements because my brother fails constantly. Note, my brother didn't hear me call him a failure. Serious edit for info. Sorry, I was really worked up and I just realized I missed this out as someone pointed it out. My brother does have AD that affects his organization and memory skills, but he stopped taking his medication and refuses to take it. He's relied on my mum for literally everything over the years and he's developed a lack of care. He forgot about his interview because my mum is the one who checks his emails because he needs help. This is part of why I understand why he gets celebrated for a C, which I would get grounded for. A C is a huge deal for him with all he's struggled. I always want to celebrate him, but I want to be celebrated too. No, NTA. Not celebrating something important to you because it might upset someone else's horse apples. Your parents are the worst, though. They managed to fail two children in completely different ways, which is almost like an achievement unto itself. If they also kicked out a grieving widow from a rental property during a pandemic a month after her husband died while being terrible and overbearing in-laws, they'd qualify for an AITA EGOT. NTA. Call your aunts and ask if they would celebrate you, because your mother won't. As an aunt myself, I am very proud of you and would throw a huge fucking party. I would brag to everyone. NTA. Your parents are clearly favoring your brother over you. Your brother needs a reality check and your parents need one too. Op's family has set everything to a standard. Op is expected to succeed, so it's no big deal to them when she does. Her big bro needs more help and encouragement. It is unfair but extremely common. You have your shit together, you are an afterthought. You struggle and the parents coddle. NTA. You cannot stop celebrating your achievements just because your mother values her male child more than she values her female child. Thank your mother for the gifts she has given you: perseverance, motivation, humility, and personal excellence. Lament that she's turned your brother into Dudley Dursley, and put them all in your rearview mirror. You outshine them all, heart. AITA for reminding my coworker that I don't answer to him. My wife had a wreck 4 months ago and hasn't quite been cleared to drive by her doctor. Since then, I have taken up taking our daughter to daycare before I go to work. Daycare doesn't open until 7:15 and I was scheduled to be at work by 7 o'clock. I talked with my boss about it and he said that it's fine if I clock in at 7:30 instead of 7 o'clock, so I have time to take my kid to daycare. This has been going on for about 3 months now and there's one co-worker who noticed I come in 30 minutes later than everyone else. He decided to make mention of it and I said, I had something come up and now my schedule is 7:30. To which he responded, well, the posted schedule says you're supposed to be here at 7 o'clock. So I'm confused. It was early in the morning and I'll admit I snapped a bit because it felt like he was asking too many questions for something that really didn't concern him. So I said plainly, that's an agreement between me and the boss and last time I checked it has absolutely nothing to do with you. He got butthurt and said I didn't have to say it like that, but he finally got my point. AITA? NTA, it's a half-hour change in the schedule, no paid week off. Coworker was just being a busybody. NTA, if he'd just accepted it wasn't an issue the first time you told him it wasn't an issue, you wouldn't have needed to shut it down. NTA, he overstepped and was asking something that wasn't his place. You were much nicer about it than I'd have been. NTA, nosy people straight answers.